fabulous layout today. You're just going to have to deal with that. You have got me. Actually, that's not really working for me. I will actually deal with that because that's just not, that was not on. All those angles were not fabulous. All right, so thank you for missing me, rolling with me while I had my little week off. It was a really big week, and this week's going to be a little bit messy as well. I found out today that I'm going to be traveling to Melbourne to do some filming, which is kind of fun for social media and television and all that sort of fun things. So I'm really looking forward to Wednesday. So I probably won't talk to you on Wednesday, given that we'll be in the studio and doing a few different things. So what I wanted to chat with you about today, though, is some really kind of interesting things that I've been noticing and things that have been coming up, and it's around like what you're saying without saying it. So here's the thing, right? I was talking to somebody last week about kids and what they are learning. It was actually what it was about. I read an article in the Sydney Morning Herald. It was online. It wasn't in the paper. And hey, Joe, and it was all about how like consent and some of these things that are going on in families and with children and at schools and this kind of thing. And it was gut-wrenching, actually. And so you guys know I have 3 children. I've got 2 girls and then a boy. And, so the conversations, like we're very open with our conversations around sex and consent and, what to do and, blah, blah, blah. And it makes me want to vomit. It is not something that I'm comfortable talking about, but I was, as I said to the kids, I'm like, this is the stuff that we have to talk about, because if we don't talk about it, then you don't know, and if you don't know, then you don't know, and then you're getting your information from other sources. So part of this conversation obviously is, the verbal conversation that we have, but then there's also, for anybody that has children or, nieces, nephews, little people that are close to them, that a lot of the things that they learn are not just from the words that come out of our mouth or what we're trying to get across, but it's also what we say without saying it. And so for me, I was kind of like, all right, well, I think this is really important. There was a couple of articles, Joe. One was particularly about social media. And how quickly this 7-year-old within like 10 minutes was being asked to do things. And then maybe 10 years old, I don't know, really young, really, really young. And then there was another article which has been getting a lot of media around, like the boys' private schools and things like that in Sydney, and the non-co-ed schools in Sydney, about the culture that's getting created and things like that, and kind of how people talk to each other. And I was like, oh man, we're going to have these conversations again, and so that's that kind of thing. But what it got me thinking about was, that there's one thing to say things, but it's quite another to demonstrate things by our actions. And so for me, we think about our children is a great metaphor for what we're getting into. So like we think about our children and we might tell them one thing, but if we go and do the opposite, or if we're not walking our talk, or if we're not following through, then we can say to them, don't quit, make sure you follow through. But if we're always quitting shit and we're not following through, then we're setting up really where we're setting up cognitive dissonance for them, and then they're left confused on an unconscious level. So if you're saying to them, make sure you're being really healthy, and you've got to eat your breakfast to make sure your brain's working, and stuff like this, then you should probably be leading by example. And I know I don't do it all the time, but I try hard to provide the right example for my kids. So when it comes to your marketing, right, and your business, this is where people are just kind of like that. They'll often forget that what else they're putting out there actually talks into and gives people a really good explanation as to what their values are. So, I can sit here and say, what, you guys, my values are family, my values are health, my values are, I'm pro-choice. My values are that you can, to live with integrity, to do the right thing, to walk your talk. But if I'm on the other hand going and, not doing that, if I was a complete charlatan, if I was completely, not doing the right thing and living completely out of integrity, or saying, be nice, be accepting, and then in private, being a racist asshole, then, it doesn't match up. And that stuff is the thing that really catches up with you. Right? There's only, and this is where like your integrity comes down to it, and the values that you live by. And what happens is, people who are following you, let's be honest, we live in the day and age of people finding your business page, then they can go and stalk you over on your personal profile. And if you're like pro-choice or pro-whatever or anti-whatever, it doesn't matter whether you're pro-choice or whether you're anti-whatever, you can be very vocal about something on your personal profile, and people see that, right? And that will either match the message that you're putting out there through your business profile, or it will create that cognitive dissonance. And people can't always put their finger on the things, right? They can't always pick up exactly what it is that's not matching up or not marrying up. But here's the thing, why this is really important is, I was driving to Adelaide. We did a big whirlwind trip over the weekend and last weekend as well to go play roller derby, which is, my opinion on roller derby, best fun ever. And so last weekend we pulled up to the fruit fly checkpoint because we're leaving Victoria and going into South Australia. And the woman at the checkpoint says, "Oh, are you Nicola Morass?" I've gone, yes. Like, why do you need to know my name? Just check to make sure I've got no fruit. And she said, "Oh, I know your parents. I saw them a couple of weeks ago. I've known you for, 25 years. I met you 25 years ago." And I'm like, "Oh, yeah. She goes, "Oh, you looking like you're all about to go on a fun girls trip." "Yeah, we're off to play roller derby." And then we've gone down to roller derby and everybody's all lovely. And, I'm just my normal self. But I guess the thing here is that you don't know when people are going to stumble across you when you're out in the real world. It's very easy, in quotes, to sit behind a phone, to sit behind social media posts, to sit behind your branding, to sit behind your website, and to be all like, "Well, you should do this, and this." But if you're not practicing what you preach, you will get caught out. And that's really where, when you're out there and you're demonstrating to other people how you are being, is really where people are going, "Okay, so this is how I've seen you online. This is how I'm seeing you, like in your professional capacity. This is how I'm seeing you in your personal capacity. This is maybe how I'm seeing you out in general public." And they will either, go, "Oh yeah, those things all marry up," or they'll be like, maybe not. So we want to be really aware of the things that you're saying, even when you're not actually saying something. So one of the things that I did last week, or actually pre that, you guys know that I'm a big advocate for you doing things that are in alignment, right? I'm a huge advocate for you guys practicing self-care. I'm a huge advocate for you guys being consistent. And I really try to model that. And I trust that for whatever business you're in, whatever it is that you're selling, you are also modeling for your people the values of your company, the things that you're really proud of, the things that your values, right? So I work hard to do this. So last Monday, I'm like, I'm really tired. Last Monday, I am so tired. I feel like I need a week out. I feel like I need a little bit of pressure off from showing up live on here was actually what I needed. Now, we've got like 593 episodes. 593 today. We've got 593 episodes in the bank. Right? So I was kind of like, you know what? I know I'm an advocate for you showing up every day. I'm also an advocate for you showing up in alignment. And I'm also an advocate for you making smart choices, for practicing self-care, for being nice and kind to yourself. So there was one day I was like done by about 11. I was like, I could probably do a live. I'm like, no, I just need the time out. And so on Monday, I came out to you guys and I'm like, I know you're going to miss me, that this is the thing that I really want you to be aware of, all right? It's all about walking your talk. Oh, Nikki, you're gorgeous. Thank you for sharing. So, I think the thing here is that no matter what it is that your values are, you have got to be in alignment. You have got to be walking your talk. And the reason for this is this. You know how many people come through your news feed every day, right? You see it, you scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll, and there is not much really. Like most people, we marketers, let's be honest, like marketers, we're all talking about the same thing, really. Like really, we're all talking about the same thing. We're all talking about you using your voice, using your message to get yourself out there, to get more clients, to make more money, to live the life of your dreams, to be able to afford to have a week off if you want, for you to be able to go and do a national tour if you want, for you to be able to go and for you to be able to do the work that you're here to do with the people that you love doing it with, and most importantly, facilitating that in the way that you love to do it and the way that you want to do it, and a way that creates massive transformation for your audience, right? But we're all talking about that. We're all talking about the same kinds of things. So the differentiator, when we're coming through the news feed, the thing that is going to make you stand out from all of those other people is you being you. Right? It's you showing up in full confidence, living your values, showing your people, what's really important to you. And this is where there is a bigger call now more than ever for you to become and for you to be even more personal, right? Oh, yay, I'm glad this is resonating with you, Nikki. Thank you. For you to be even more personal, strategically personal on your business page, right? Because here's the thing that I know. If I'm here with you right now and then you happen to come and watch a roller derby game and I'm there and you come and say, oh my gosh, Nicola, I'm so excited to meet you. And I'd be like, that's awkward, but yay. Like I go really weird. It's so funny. I go, because it's not my show, right? So if I'm in that environment, I get really kind of like, oh my God, this is really awkward. But I love it, but I get really awkward. And so if you come up and we're chatting away, the biggest compliment that people give me is that they'll say, oh, Nick, you're exactly in person like you are online. But maybe a little bit shorter than I expected. Morning, Carmen. Everybody always says that. Like I'm 5'2", I'm tiny. It's like I'm a little human, and they're all like, "Oh my gosh, you're exactly in person like you are online, but a little bit shorter." And it's the best thing that people can say. But and that to me, like whether I'm at skating or whether I'm at derby or whether I'm with my kids or whether I'm with you or whether I'm at an event or whether I'm on a plane, the thing for me. And this is the same for all of you, is you've got to be the same version or the best version of you in all of the places that you show up. But we've got to be more strategically personal. And therefore we've got to share more of what's going on, because all of those other people, that are not, right? And the steps for being visible are create more content, be relevant to your audience, and be prolific with your content creation. I can teach that. Anyone else can teach that. So what makes you listen to me? What makes other people listen to you? What makes people choose to buy from you? What makes people choose to tune in to what you have to say? It's you, right? It's how you articulate what you do. It's the stories that you share. It's how you share your heart. It's how you share your soul, and how you share the things that are important to you in a way that's relevant to them. Right? We're not lifestyle bloggers, or some of you might be lifestyle bloggers. Most of us are not lifestyle bloggers. So it's not about, well, I'm drinking out of a pump bottle today, or, whatever's going on. It's like most of the people that I work with, you're selling something. It's not just, putting your words out onto the internet, hoping that you'll get some advertising off the back end of it. So I guess for me, the big thing that I wanted to say to you today is, like the things that you're saying, oh, yay, Mariana, thank you. The things that we've got to remember is that when you're going and sharing what you're eating for breakfast, and it might sound naff, and I always, I feel like I feel like a bit of an idiot when I'm posting my peanut butter coated bagels. I was like, but I'm also, what I usually put in there is like, this is morning tea, body, I'm trying to build muscle. I'm really working hard on my fitness. I'm wanting to bulk up a little bit. And, I'm really proud of the things that I'm doing. So, the way that I'm communicating my values to you is like, you know what? Yeah, I'm little, but I'm eating peanut butter laden bagels and porridge and, all the rest of it, as well as working out and doing those things. So it tells you, without me telling you, that health is something that's really important to me. And it is. And movement and all of those kinds of things. So how can you do this for you? How can you be more strategically personal on your page? How can you share more? Now, I'm not talking about sharing your kids unless you're happy to do that. I'm not talking about sharing your partner unless you're happy to do that. It's completely up to you. Exactly, Joe. It shows you my values. And when you guys do it, it shows your audience your values. And this is really important. And the reason, I haven't said this yet, but the reason that this is important is not only to cut through the noise, right? To stand out, be seen, be visible, and all of that sort of stuff. The reason that this is important is that I want to work with people who I like. I know that might sound really selfish, but heck, can't we be selfish in our businesses? The people that I want to work with also value their health. The people that I work with, I want to work with, are people that I'd be happy to hang out with and have a coffee with. The people I want to work with are people that I enjoy spending time with. The people that I want to work with are people who can have a laugh. The people that I want to work with are people who can, laugh nicely at me. The people that I want to work with are passionate and driven and family orientated, no matter what your family looks like. You probably love coffee. You probably love champagne. You probably love laughing a lot, right? That's what I want. So it kind of goes without saying, for you guys, I bet your business life would be so much nicer, so much easier if all of your clients are people that you'd actually want to spend time with. Doesn't that sound, it sounds like really groundbreaking, but this is the thing. And so this is why it's important for you to be putting this stuff out there. This is why it's important to be really brave. This is why it's important to go, you know what, this feels really uncomfortable talking about me and talking about the things that I do and talking about my everyday life and things like that. Because to me, my life doesn't feel very exciting, right, when I'm in it. But I know that to a lot of people, they're like, oh, okay, this is really interesting. Nicola's able to do this. She's going to Melbourne on Wednesday to film. It's very exciting. Going down there to do that, and she's, people want the lifestyle where you've got choice, right? So how do you know that I'm living that? How do you know that I'm actually living what I'm selling if I'm not telling you and sharing it with you? It's ridiculous. So that's why we need to do this. So no matter what it is that you're doing, how can you be more strategically personal? How can you share more of you? How can you share your values without going out there and going out to market and going, my values are health and my values are family and things like that. Like sometimes that's important to do, but how can you do that? How can you share that with the content or the imagery and the things that you're sharing and the things that you're posting? And that's really what we need from you. That's what's going to cut through. That's what's going to create the differentiation. And that's what's going to have you shining so bright out there in the news feed that people are going to be drawn to you, magnetized to you, and they're just like, oh, wow, who's that? What are they doing? I need some of that. And that's what gets created. So that's that for us today. Happy Monday. I hope you all have a suitably fabulous day. We have got Visible Live happening in just a few short weeks. If you are not registered yet for your capital city, being either Melbourne, Perth, Sydney, not capital cities, that's silly. Sydney, Melbourne, Gold Coast, and Perth. Make sure you get yourself registered. I will pop the link in the comments very, very shortly. It is something like www.joinnicola.com. No, join.nicolamorais.com.au/visible-live. I'll put it in the comments because I can't. Nobody picked that up. That's that. So in the meantime, get out there, go kick some ass, have a whole ton of fun helping all of the people that you want to help. Be strategically personal, and I will see you tomorrow. Mwah! Have fun.